Gentleman from Colorado is recognized for 5 minutes.
I thank the Madam Chair, and I just say to my friend from Georgia, who really is my friend, and this isn't about demagoguery, sir. And what I would say, Madam Chair, the issue before us is what got our country into a financial pickle. The Republicans want to pick on Medicare, but Americans know. I had a government in the grocery this weekend, and an older gentleman came up to me and he says, you know, why is there such a focus on Medicare, something that's been working for 50 years? You know, it's helping seniors have healthier, longer lives. What's the big deal? He said, you know, 10 years ago, this country was running a surplus. Revenues exceeded expenses. Under Bill Clinton, revenues were exceeding expenses. But then there's a decision under the Bush administration to cut taxes. Okay, revenues are exceeding expenses, maybe that's okay. That cost us $1 trillion over the next 10 years. Then, decision to prosecute 2 wars. Says to me, two wars, that cost us about $1 trillion too, didn't it, Mr. Congressman? I said, yeah. Says, okay, so Medicare, 10 years ago, we're fine. Revenues exceed expenses. Now we've got tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires, $1 trillion. 2 wars, $1 trillion. And then there was this big crash on Wall Street where we lost revenues and we had bigger expenses. That was a couple $1 trillion, wasn't it, sir? I said, yeah, that's about right. He said, so why? That turned our budget upside down, so now why are we focusing on Medicare? Why blame Medicare for $4 trillion of losses to the United States? It wasn't Medicare that is harming the financial success of this country, so why all the blame when this program really has been working for seniors for so long? So I would say to my side of the aisle, this is a program that my friends haven't liked since its inception. In a second, I will yield to my friend from Georgia. But this is a program that Republicans haven't liked from its inception. So to turn the target into Medicare and not say to have tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires, that should be part of the whole equation of balancing our budget, or taking away the incentives and all of the tax benefits for oil companies at $100 a barrel, but say, no, we're going to focus on Medicare. In my opinion, that's just wrong. But I'd yield to my friend from Georgia.
Colorado, my good friend, for yielding, and I would just rhetorically ask, and maybe he would want to definitively answer, how much of the windfall profit taxes, if you will, against big oil, big pharma, big anything, are you going to put back into the Medicare program? And by the way, how much of the Medicare Advantage cuts that came from Obamacare are actually going back into the Medicare program as we know it?
Taking my time back, I'd say to my friend from Georgia, you know what? If those tax benefits are taken away at $100 a barrel, we can put them into Medicare. We can use them to balance the budget. But I heard my other friend from Georgia say, well, this is what's causing the bankruptcy. That's just not true. You know, this country was running a surplus, for goodness sakes, and Americans understand that. They know what got us into trouble financially. It wasn't Medicare. So now to take it out of Medicare and just, you know, take it out of our senior citizens where a program is actually working. The goal of that program was so Americans could live longer, healthier lives in their senior years. It's working. But no, let's go blame that instead of the tax cuts for millionaires and billionaires. Let's forget about those wars and the cost of the country, and let's forget about the fact we had a crash on Wall Street. Hey, this is a perfect, my friends on the Republican side of the aisle say, hey, this is a perfect time to go after Medicare. We haven't liked it before. We still don't like it. Let's get it. With that, I'd yield back.